Thanks, Jeff. We're continuing gardening tips at sunrise this morning. Celebrity landscaper Ahmed Hassan is back in the studio.
If you guys were tuned in the past half hour, he gave us some great tips on succulents and how they're kind of taking over the plant world right now.
And we're talking about drought conditions and what plants are best suiting this weather condition. As we all know, we're kind of going through a slight drought emergency here in Oregon.
Slight.
Slight?
That's
kind
cute.
of a lot?
That's really cute.
A big? No, small?
She's being positive. She's being positive.
Being positive.
Let me tell you, the planet used to be covered in water. It ain't going back that direction.
Yeah.
Now, we're all expecting El Nino is going to hit. I'm expecting it. I have my kayak and my life jacket ready. But until then, we're talking watering plants, keeping your plants alive, and stopping of the watering of the turf because it's grass. You don't even use it except when you're out there mowing it. If you even mow it, what's the point, right? Mm-hmm. So even succulents will wilt on you. So like this little succulent right here, my daughter was supposed to water the plants yesterday, and I was grabbing plants to come and do this segment, and I was like, yeah, Camille, you didn't quite get that one. But anyways, so even succulents will wilt like this. I mean, you can see a wilted plant, right? Now, if you look over there, can you tell that this little crassula, that's wilting?
This one right here is wilting?
It is.
Now pick up the pot. Now, can you tell it's wilting? You see how light that is?
Yeah, I can feel how dry.
Okay, where this one is actually fine, it's not wilting yet. So when it comes to watering, people always ask me, they're like, well, how often should I water it? When do I water it? It's like, it's not that simple. You water plants when they wilt, or you water them right before they go through what we call the permanent wilting point. This is the temporary wilting point. This is the point at which it wilts, I can water it, it'll come right back.
And wilting is like you're speaking about some of these little spots.
It's not standing
right
up straight.
Okay.
Okay.
See that? It's all curved over. So plants all worship the sun. What we're supposed to do is get them hydrated. What's not intuitive is how much water do we give them.
Right.
So when you go out there with your little gun nozzle and you or you're on the phone, hey girl, yeah, you know, we had a nice weekend.
That's how I water.
That's not watering.
Oh, no.
That's wetting your plant.
Okay.
So what you're supposed to do, and I'm going to sacrifice a bottle of water here to give you guys a little lesson on watering.
Okay.
What you're supposed to do is, I just put this potting soil in here, right? It's right from here, Fred Meyer special, right? I put the potting soil in here, and I'm watering, and I'm going around it. And this is helpful because there's actually a clear pot. But once it drips down to the bottom, then you're done.
Oh, wow.
Because that soil is holding all the water it can have, and then the loosely held water is going to go down. What's interesting is plants don't suck water out of the soil. There's no when there's wet soil.
Which is what I thought happens.
Right.
Yeah.
We all sort of think it happens. The way that it actually works, I'm going to do a little demo here and act like my hand is a microscopic piece of soil. Okay, so my hand is a soil particle, and you get it all wet like I just did there, right? So the loosely held water is the only water that plants can take. So when the soil is wet, that's fine, the soil's wet, but the plant doesn't get any of that water because it's not strong enough to suck that water off of the soil because that water has a bond to my hand.
Okay.
And water has a bond to soil. So you have to, when you're watering, you have to create enough water that's there, enough excess water to where you have extra and you're wetting all the soil particles and water's all sticking to them, and then you have some excess, and then that's what your plants get to take up.
Okay.
And that water is moving in 3 more different directions. One, it's moving down because it's got gravitational pull, right? And then it also moves left and right through what we call capillary action in the soil. And then it's also evaporating even though you can't see it.
Yeah.
So plants get a very small fraction of water. So what I tell people is when you're watering, think to yourself, and it's just a conscientious move, think to yourself, I'm watering the soil, I'm creating enough excess water that the soil's wet and my plant gets a drink, and then move to your next plant.
Okay. What's overwatering look like?
How do we do that?
Because
That's what she does.
I think we drowned in
That's what she does, because you were talking about mold.
Moldy
Right.
succulent.
So
That was weird.
So the plants are kind of like you. You need hydration, but too much hydration, I drown you.
Okay.
So you want to
That's
keep
what
them
I
wet.
did then.
You want to do that, give that plant water, and then you want to basically wait until it goes to the wilting point.
Okay.
That's efficient watering. So it's not like every 3 days I'm going to water it, or on Mondays I water at 4. It's not that.
Wow.
And you want to stretch them as long as you can, which is the reason that I continue to promote succulent plants, because they hold on to their water. This plant feels the way that it does because it has moisture inside of it. It can draw on that. It'll use up its water, and then it'll finally start to wilt, and they all will wilt just like any other plant.
Yeah.
And then you add more water.
Very interesting. Well, I hope we
learning so
can
much.
keep some of our plants alive now, right?
These tips. Our plants are thanking you right now.
This is a good thing.
All right, Ahmed, well, are sticking around with us for a little bit more this morning. We have some more questions for our gardens coming up a little bit later.